We have him as residing in the home, Judge, but if you'll take judicial notice of our last case involving the family and the Roberson removal, he has been difficult to locate and serve and to tie down to any one address. And so I think the purposes of the order to aid would be served by having served the mother and ordering her to do the services, considering she has consistently had primary possession of all four of the children during all of our
Okay.
involvement.
All right. I'll be happy to dismiss Mr. Sims. I won't be ordering any services for her because that's not what the order to aid
Correct.
asks for. So, okay. All right. Then I will go ahead and order that Joshua Sims be dismissed from this lawsuit.
And then, Your Honor, the department would then call Ms. Reynoso.
Okay. Ms. Reynoso, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. If you'd raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Wildman.
Thank you, Judge. Before I begin asking questions, we would also like to ask that you take judicial notice of the prior OTP in 87023L1, which began in August 2025 and was dismissed in November 2025. The order wasn't signed until December, but the case was dismissed at that last hearing. And just take judicial notice that in that case, the department had attempted to engage Miss Nivens and Mr. Smith or Sims in services, but they did not cooperate or complete those services. Ultimately, that case was dismissed because the department was able to at least have some contact with the children, and I believe it was testified by the family-based worker that at that time they couldn't give a concrete reason to believe that the children were in continuing danger,
Okay.
even that non-cooperation. And so,
So noted.
thank you, Judge. And Ms. Reynoso, if you would please tell us, how are you currently employed?
I'm an investigator for the Department of Family and Protective Services.
And how did you become involved with the Nivens family?
I was assigned the case, and I was the investigator that made contact with the family.
When did you receive a new intake related to the family?
This would have been, I believe, December 30th.
Okay. And what was the nature of that intake?
There were concerns with the 12-year-old caring for the children on her own without Carly being present. There were also concerns that Carly had substance abuse issues, and that's why she wasn't present. Additional concerns with the younger children and the physical health of the younger children, but also concerns with degrading language, all the children. And then there was a use allegation concern by an unknown for one of the female daughters.
All right. And as part of your investigation, I guess when you first started trying to make contact with the family, where did you go?
I went to the home.
And is that the residence there on Ong Street?
Yes, that is correct.
And were you successful in making contact?
Initially, no, but then I left from the home and I received a phone call from her. So she received the card I left on the door. And then I was able to make actual contact.
How did she respond to you reaching out?
Her response was very aggressive. She wanted to know what I was placing a card on her door for, um, what the allegations were, what the CPS case was. She said that she just recently had a case closed and that she was not effing doing this again. It was a lot of foul language, very aggressive, not wanting to cooperate. I explained to her that it had nothing to do with her previous case, that this was a new intake, and she agreed to allow me to see the children, but not interview the children. And she said, if you come right now, I'll let you see them. And so I went to the home. She was gathering them out onto the porch, still yelling, screaming, cussing. And so I took what I could at that time where I was able to see the children.
And were you able to get any information from her or the children at that time?
No.
Did she let you take photographs at least?
Yes.
Um,
The didn't want to take a photograph, and so she responded that she wasn't going to make him. I didn't make him either, but I was able to lay eyes on him.
now, based off of that brief contact, were you able to follow up on any of those allegations with Miss Nivens or the children at that time?
No.
And were you allowed in the home to see whether or not you could see any physical signs of any of the abuse or substance use or anything like that?
No, she was very adamant that I was not gonna be allowed to enter the home.
All right. And um, did you talk to her about cooperating with CPS or cooperating about the investigation at all after that?
Yes, and after that, no. Just that day was that was the entirety of our conversation.
Did you recall whether or not she said anything about getting a court order?
Yes, she told because of the case that she had recently had that had the court order dismissed, she said go ahead and get another court order if that's what you feel that you need to do. Because it was effing dismissed. I'm not effing doing this again. And so it kind of was just she was telling me to leave, get off her porch and get a court order if that's what I needed to do.
And from your understanding, from having reviewed the case history, had she done anything in the last case to your knowledge as far as services or anything like that?
To my knowledge, she has a pattern of not cooperating, and that was, I believe, why the order was granted in the last case. However, the very next court date it was dismissed, and so no services were completed in that FBSS case.
All right. And so, were you ever at any point able to make contact with Mr. Sims?
No,
And did you attempt to make contact with him?
I did, and it's unknown to me if the phone number that I have for him, if that is current contact information.
And then is it fair to say that at this point, as part of this investigation, you hadn't had a real reason to reach out to the Smith father?
Correct.
And from your understanding, he is in federal prison, as the judge announced earlier, correct?
Correct.
Now, based off of the history, and let me ask you, so is there a medical neglect concern as part of this intake as well?
Um, I do believe with Killian, the young boy was having some hospitalization for some E. coli. I from the way the reporter made the intake, it seems that he did receive medical care. So if any follow-up care has happened, I don't know anything about that. So it's very hard to say that definitively.
And the allegation that the E. coli and I guess infections were due to improper care by the older sibling?
Yes.
And with that is the allegation because the mother was not there providing the care that was necessary initially?
Yes, that is correct.
And have you been able to access the medical records to confirm anything or to see what was reported to the medical facilities?
No, I have not.
Um, based off of that lack of ability to talk to the children or get into the home, do you have good cause to believe that the children may be in imminent danger of being subjected to aggravated circumstances such as in that home?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
And regardless of that, do you also believe that it would be necessary to talk to the children, interview the children, and gain access to the home to protect them from abuse or neglect?
Yes.
Similarly, as far as reviewing medical information, do you believe that it would be necessary to get records or have examinations completed of the children to further protect them from abuse and neglect?
Yes.
And as far as what you're asking for in the petition, are you asking that the court order that the department is able to enter the home of the children or school of the children for the purpose of interview, examination, and investigation?
Yes, that is correct.
Are you asking that the court enter an order that you be able to transport the children for an interview or examination?
Yes, that is correct.
And are you asking for court orders to obtain prior medical, psychological, or psychiatric records or have examinations completed for all of the children?
Yes, that is correct.
And do you believe that those are all necessary steps to complete your investigation and to safeguard the children from further abuse or neglect?
Yes, I believe so.
And to confirm that abuse and neglect have occurred.
Yes.
All right. And as far as the history that you've talked about, does the history with this family go back pretty far, back to September of 2016 from your understanding?
Yes, that is correct.
And does that further give you reason to be concerned about ongoing abuse and neglect to the children?
Yes, it does.
And similarly, that lack of cooperation in the last cases that give you reason to believe that there's a good need to investigate these allegations further?
Yes, it does.
Uh, all right, Judge, I don't think I have any further questions.
All right. Anything else from the department then?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then. I will go ahead. I will grant the department's petition for order to aid in investigation. I'll order the relief requested in the department's petition, and I will sign that order when it's presented.
Thank you, Judge.
Uh-huh. Can somebody tell me why we allotted an hour for an order to aid?
I'm not sure, Judge. I think if they had appeared, I think it could have been a much more contentious hearing based off of past experiences.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start reviewing these allotted time periods before we set the dockets because we've wasted a lot of time this way. So, okay, I'll be back at 10 o'clock because we've got a big break here. I'll be back at 10 o'clock to call a motion to participate involving the Wrinkle child. So, see you some.
Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more courtroom breakdowns.